This is episode 56, and today we're talking about real estate and short sales. What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in. Today we're talking about short sales. Now, short sales is a type of real estate when individuals aren't able to afford the rest of their mortgage. For example, the property of the house may have dropped in value, and all of a sudden the house isn't worth what they paid for. So now they have a debt. Maybe the mortgage is $100,000, but the house is only worth $50,000. They call that being underwater. And now all of a sudden you want to figure out ways to actually get out of the debt, get out of the mortgage. And one way to do that is through short sales. And short sales happen primarily in the U.S. because it's somewhat relatively easier to buy a house. I know in a lot of developing countries you have to have cash. It's a cash society. You got to pay cash for the land, and you have to pay cash for the house. But in the U.S., in many ways, a FHA loan, 3.5% down roughly, you can get a loan to cover the rest of the house. If you have good credit or things such as that, they have a lot of programs, even if you don't have good credit, for you to be able to buy a house. So short sales happen primarily because individuals can't afford the rest of the mortgage, and the mortgage is higher than what the house is actually worth. And you saw a lot of short sales, particularly in the early 2000s, because properties in value were just rising so much. So the bank was agreeing to do a short sale primarily because they knew the value was going to rise up. But once the recession happened, roughly in 2008, and banks weren't necessarily more willing to do a short sale. But it is an option for individuals who have financial difficulty, financial trouble with their house. And it's important to understand the legal strategies behind having a successful short sale. And that's what I'm talking about in this video. So a short sale, as I mentioned, is primarily when you sell your house for less than what you owe on your mortgage, and you don't have the liquid cash to be able to pay off the deficit. But it's important to understand that a bank may be willing to do a short sale because a bank, if it goes through foreclosure, the bank has to actually pay for foreclosure. So one way in your short sale package, you'll be showing that it's cheaper to do this short sale and actually pay to go the legal route of doing a foreclosure, because a foreclosure is a legal route that the individual bank has to go, have to get a sheriff involved, have to potentially auction it at the courthouse steps or wherever they actually have designated for selling foreclosed homes and things such as that. And the bank may actually have to take the house back if it can't find a seller to actually buy the house at the auction. So a bank will have to keep the house and maybe spend money for the upkeep and things such as that. So it may be better for just a bank just to do a short sale versus having to pay for a foreclosure, as well as pay to maintain it and keep it safe and pay for any damages and repairs or anything such as that. And have that legal risk of just having a house on its assets. The bank doesn't want to own a house. A bank wants to create loans. It doesn't want to actually own the house. The benefit, as I mentioned to the lender, is that it'll minimize the expenses of maintaining the house. The bank doesn't have to take the property, as well as the lender will avoid risk in the property that won't sell. So when you're doing a short sale, it's important that the first step you want to do is get a real estate agent. A real estate agent that knows about short sales, what they'll do is they'll list the house for sale. And then within the description, they'll probably say this is a short sale, and the final agreement for the purchase of the property is contingent on the bank approving the short sale. So the real estate agent will help you find a buyer. And once you actually have a buyer, then you start creating your short sale package. You want to have a strong purchase agreement, purchase a contract. And within that purchase contract, it has to have, this is contingent on approval by this bank or whoever the lender may be, of having the short sale finalized. And then you'll submit a financial package, a package of a short sale to the lender. I can't say that enough. That is probably the most critical step with the short sale, having a convincing package that you submit to the bank. And some of the things you need to have in your short sale, first thing you need to have a proposal offer to your lender. And that'll pretty much like a cover letter, brief description of what's going on and why you want to short sell it, and why you can't necessarily afford to pay it. And you can have a lender's net sheet, or it may require you to have a HUD-1 estimated. And pretty much that'll be a net sheet showing, as I mentioned earlier, showing that it'll be cheaper to actually go through the short sale than actually going the route of foreclosure. Because if you don't pay your mortgage, banks have a legal right to foreclose on a property to recoup some of their money back. So if you can show them the plus minus through either the HUD-1 sheet, or you can create your own lender's net sheet, that'll be more convincing. You will have the purchase agreement. As I mentioned, you will have a good attorney drafting that purchase agreement for you, making sure it's contingent on it. So showing the bank that I already have a buyer for the house. So you won't have to take it. There's already a buyer that's willing to buy the house. That's important to understand as well. You have your seller's information. This is critical. You have to show the bank that I don't actually have the ability to pay for this house. I would if I could, but I can't pay for this house. And one way you show that is by showing your supporting information. You want to show your 2 years of your W-2s or your 1040s. If you you'll have 3 months of your recent pay stubs. You have 3 months of your most recent bank statements. You can potentially have your credit report, or the lender can order your credit report. And then you also want to show like potential hardship that you may have. Like if you're there, they may have some type of sympathy for you. You can show a hardship. Emotion, ethos is one way to actually you can use for your weapon and create your argument as logic. And then also the emotion. Emotion can be just as strong as just pure logic. So don't forget to bring in the emotion aspect of it. You want to talk about show your medical bills. You want to show your potential disability statements. You want to show your unemployment pay stubs. You want to show there's liens on the property. You want to show things such as that. You want to be logical. You don't want to be too emotional, but you can bring some elements of emotion within it, because emotion, as I mentioned, can be just as convincing and persuasive as just pure logic. What else? You want to show the appraisal of the house. You want to get an appraisal. Now the bank may order appraisal. It'll be through through a broker. They may have their own broker, and the broker give his own what they call a BPO, a broker's price opinion, talking about this is how much I think the house is worth, which would be verifying what you have or what you think the house is worth, and that the house is truly underwater, and that there's a mortgage on it that's higher than what the actual mortgage is. So that's important. And then you also want to talk about any estimated repairs, and then showing that how much it may cost for the contractor. Because you may be selling a house as is, but if there's some repairs on it, things such as that, you may want to talk about it. Also, you want to have showing that there's payoffs, if there's mortgages, junior mortgages on it, because a lot of times people take out second mortgages on their house. If they have like a restaurant, or they want to buy other property, they can get a second mortgage on their property and then use that money to start a business or whatever it may be. So they may have junior mortgages that must agree to that. A bank may be more willing to do a short sale if the junior mortgages, because the bank that created the first mortgage, they're first. They were the first ones to put a loan on the property, and then anyone that puts another loan, like a second mortgage, or second line of credit, they are considered junior. They are considered secondary mortgages, junior mortgages. So you have to get them to agree to potential short sale. Now, the benefit of a junior mortgage person agreeing to is that if the first bank forecloses on it, they can potentially be wiped out. So let's say, for example, there's a $100,000 mortgage on it, and then there's $20,000 worth of junior mortgages on it. The bank that's superior, the first one to put the loan on it, and the house sells for $70,000. The first bank lost $30,000. So that bank, all that $70,000 will go to the first bank. No money will go to the junior mortgages. So they will be considered what they call wiped out. So that's important to understand that the junior mortgages may be willing to agree to a short sale, because they already know that if the first bank forecloses, they're not gonna get any money, assuming that there's not enough money left over to cover them. So you may have to talk to the junior mortgages and say, maybe I'll give you 10% of what this mortgage is in cash right now if you agree to release the rest of this debt so I can get a short sale. They may be willing to do that, because their alternative is potentially nothing, because as I mentioned, it's the first mortgage, the first mortgage forecloses on it. They may not get anything because there may not be any money left over to give to them. So that's important. So those are pretty much the steps to having a short sale. It's important to understand that a short sale is a strategy. It's important to get a real estate agent. You may have to sign a real estate agency agreement with a real estate agent. Find one that knows a lot about short sales, and talk to an attorney as well to make sure that this is a good route for you to go. But it's important to know that there's the benefits to you, because if a bank forecloses on your house, that foreclosure is on your credit. That's important to understand. It's on your credit for a while. But if you're doing a short sale, it may not necessarily be on your credit. Now, it's important to understand that if the bank forgives the rest of the loan, say for example, there's a $100,000 loan on a house, and the property is now worth $50,000. There's a $50,000 that the bank forecloses on it. There's $50,000 that the bank will never ever get. So the bank may report it to IRS as a loss, and then the IRS may say, hey, you don't have to pay $50,000 even though you agreed to pay $50,000. Now all of a sudden they may consider that $50,000 as income. You'll have to pay under the tax form 982, because the bank may submit to you, they may send you the form 1099-C. So when they send you that, you have to file taxes on that. Basically mean they're reporting that to the IRS, and the IRS is saying, hey, that money the bank forgave that you couldn't pay back is now income, so pay taxes on that. So that's important to understand. But we talked about a lot in this video. We talked about real estate, we talked about short sales, we talked about a short sale package, the purchase agreement, we talked about potential taxes that you may have to pay when it comes to a short sale. But it's important to understand that if you are going through financial trouble, there is opportunities for you. There are strategies that you can pursue, and a short sale is one of the strategies you can pursue to potentially save some aspects of your credit, as well as give you a fresher start and be able to buy a new house going forward. Because if the new bank looks at your credit and see a foreclosure, it may not be as willing to give you a loan. That's important to understand. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks.
See, you want the fame and I want the chain. We ain't got the same focus. I came in the game with my own